Back in the Superdome this weekend, so that game will be on at noon. So it'll probably be on Fox 8. So we are going to go into the specifics of this game. With previews, we'll have Coach Allen's conference call, and also we'll have Pete Carroll's press conference, and we'll break down the film. So we're going to go recap last week's game, Seattle and Detroit. So let me go ahead and switch this out. Okay, once again, Seattle did win 48-45 in their game last Sunday. So that was the game at noon and stuff like that. So let's go over the scoring plays. I'm going to go over those scoring plays. We'll give you the drives. Okay, Seattle went on a 17-yard touchdown. That was on one play and 32 yards. That was in the game with 6:54 remaining. So that was the first touchdown of the game. Also, next touchdown was a 8-yard touchdown pass that was in the first quarter with 4:35 remaining. So Geno Smith threw a 38-yard pass. Also, Seattle kicked the field goal that was with 13:07. That drive. Let's go over to that drive. That drive was 12 plays, 41 yards. That was 6:28 off the clock. Also, they had a fumble that was on 5 plays and 37 yards. And in the fifth play, they had a touchdown that was on 12 plays, 75 yards. It took 5:04 off the clock and 75 yards. So that was the last touchdown. That was at the 2:14 mark in the game. That was a, we're going to look at it. That that was a 41-yard pass play from, so it was a 41-yard run play in that game, and also another pass play by, so that's 41 yards in the game last Sunday. So once again, your final score, Seattle wins the game 48-45. We're going to go over the stats in this game. So let me put this up on the screen. Seattle had 27 first downs. They ran 33 times for 235, 3 scores. So that was a pretty good clip right there. Also, they threw for 320 yards and 2 scores. That was 25 of 30. They didn't get sacked once. Now the passing yards was 320 to 375. Total yards was 555 to 520. The fumble was 1 for Seattle, 1 turnover. Also, they had 11 penalties for 76 yards, and then they had they went 9 for 12 on third down. So they didn't convert on no fourth down. The time of possession. This is where Seattle had the ball for about 33 minutes and 6 seconds. Detroit had the ball for only 26 seconds. That is a pretty complete difference when it comes down to it. So that game right there, that was a definite shootout to say the least. So let's give you the player stats. Okay, player stats. Geno Smith, will give you Geno Smith's numbers. I'm going to put those up on my screen. Geno Smith, 23 of 30. He was sacked none. He had 2 touchdowns. He had 7 runs for 49 yards. That was in the game last Sunday. His quarterback rating was 132.6. And let's give you the next one. I'm going to give you the running one as well. So give me 1 second to get that run. Okay, the run one. Okay, let me stop this. Okay, the next one is Rashard Perry. Rashard Perry had 17 carries for 151 yards. He had one reception. And then Kenneth Walker, he only had 8 carries for 29 yards in that game versus Detroit. Now, Eckridge had 1 carry. So your main carriers was Geno Smith and Rashad Perry in the game last Sunday. Now, your receivers, DJ Metcalf, DK had 7 catches for 149. He was targeted 10 times. Lockett, 6 catches, 91 yards. Disley, 4 catches, 39 yards. Parkinson, 2 catches, 28 yards. And also Noel Fart had 1 catch for about 2 yards. That was in the ball game last Sunday for the Seattle Seahawks. So their wide receivers definitely caught the ball. It was Walker, Metcalf, Lockett. So Metcalf, Lockett caught the ball last Sunday. Now their defensive efforts for the Seattle Seahawks, I'm going to show you their numbers. Okay, their sacks. They didn't have no sacks, but had 114 yak yards. He also had a rating of 1.8, so that was pretty consistent when it comes down to it. Now the advanced receiving, Metcalf had 7 catches, but also he did not drop. He dropped the ball 1 time. That was about 10%. So he dropped the ball once in the game last Sunday. So that's let's give you their Seattle snap count. Okay, Geno Smith was on the field 100 times. Lockett 55 times, 79%. Lockett 55 times. Metcalf 53 times, 76%. Disley 51 times. Perry was on the field 48 times on those snap counts, 69%. Feint 41 times for 59 yards, and Goodwin 29 times for 41%. So pretty good, consistent snap counts when it comes down to it in their games. So that is what they was consistent of. Now the line, the Seattle defense. Let's give you their breakdown. Seattle defense gave up a touchdown that was on 1 play and 32 yards. The next one was a field goal, 12 plays, 41 yards. And also the defense had a fumble. They had a fumble against the Lions. Seattle recovered. Also, Detroit went on a 12-play, 75-yard drive. Also, interception by was 1 time by the Lions. The 4 touchdowns was 3 plays, 71 yards. 3 plays, 75 yards. It was 1 pass, 2 runs, and 1 penalty. Also the other touchdown, 2 pass, 1 rush, 1. Also another one is 10 passes. So they had 10 passes against the Seattle defense. So they had 2 rushes against them as well. Now on the 9 plays, they had 7 passes, 2 runs. So that was in the game last Sunday against the Detroit Lions. So I look at it this way. I mean, their running backs are very consistent when it comes down to it. I mean, look, you got to stop Perry. Perry's the main one that had over 100 yards on 17 carries. That's something right there. You got to contain him. this weekend, because he could be running all day. He's also made some catches in that ball game against Detroit. So, like I said, that's considered that a warning for the Saints. It's not to underestimate these guys. So, let's switch this back in. Okay, and that is your breakdown from last Sunday's game. Saints and Detroit and Seattle. So let's give you their stats. I'm gonna give you their points a game and stuff like that. So I'm gonna switch this over and give you their points a game for the Seahawks. Let me put that in the screen. Okay, let's give you their stats. Okay, points a game. They average. Let's see. On the offensive side, they let's see where their points. Okay, their points a game. Let's look at their numbers. So once again, they're at home. When they're on the road, this is a road game. Seattle runs the ball for 271 yards. They also pass for 517. That's on 61 completions right there. 47 passes to 61 attempts. So that's in their games at nauseum. Now in the first quarter, Seattle averages 109 yards. That's on 25 carries. Now they're passing. They're 26 of 29. So that's a big concern right there. They are. That's in first quarter play right there when you look at it. So it's the first quarter play. Now second quarter, they run for 100 yards a game. That's in their games. Now they pass for 349 yards in the second quarter. That is their completion percentage is at 74.5. Now in the third quarter, they run the ball 21 carries, 144 yards. That's a 6.9 average. That is something right there that the Saints defense is going to have to be aware of when it comes down to it. Now they pass for 155 yards. That's on 6.5 yards per attempt. Now the next one is the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, they run 61 plays. They also run 23 carries for 102 yards, and also their passing is at 214. So that is in the first four quarters of the game. So Seattle is a pretty potent team when it comes down to it. They average 95 points a game, so that's 23 points a game. So 95 points and 23 a game. Now their points against, they're at 115, but give up 28 points a game. So they having problems with those. That's 31 out of 32. So their defense giving up points is very stagnated when it comes down to it. Now we're going to give you the numbers. We're going to give you a whole bunch of. Okay, let's give you those. Trying to see if we give you the points a game. So that's the points for a game. Points a game, 95 points. So they're pretty consistent on those scoring summaries. 95 points. Defense gives up 115. And on those points a game, they have let's see, 6 receiving touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. So that's pretty consistent right there with their pass plays. Now, Now their touchdown logs, they have a 38-yard touchdown pass. They also have a 25-yard pass. Sometimes they have a blocked field goal, and that's the things they get from those touchdown logs right there when it comes down to it. So that's your breakdown on the Seattle points and defense scored a game. So let's give you a let's give you another breakdown. I'm gonna give you third down conversions. Let me go ahead and put that up on the screens. Okay, third down conversions. They run the ball eight times for 23 yards. Now it's on first. So throw the ball 42 times. So it's 42 times on 8 pass plays. Now the scoring differentials, I'm going to tell you the scoring differentials, when they're leading, they have 285 yards total, but also they have 1 touchdown in the game. Now trailing, they only have 22 carries for 56 yards, and also they have 42 of 54 passing. That's good for 408 yards a game. So that's in games right there for the Seattle Seahawks. Now the rush, on a blitz, they run the ball 33 times, complete the ball 33 times, and they have 3 touchdowns. So now on a normal rush, they will go 75 out of 100 passes, and it goes 786 yards, and the rating is 94.8. So that's a pretty consistent thing when it comes down to it. So that's your breakdowns right there for the Saints and for the Saints of Seattle. We will go over to Dennis Allen's press conference. I'm gonna go over to the conference call because I'm a mute. I'm gonna put the thing on me, and we'll go over to Dennis Allen's press conference call. So we're gonna hit listen to it.
Good. I'm great, DA. How are you?
Outstanding.
Dennis, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, what are you sort of saying in Geno Smith? It looked like he's been really accurate this season.
Say that again. I couldn't.
What are you saying from Geno Smith compared to last season?
Yeah, look, he's operating the offense very well. He's almost a 78% completion percentage right now. He's making good decisions. He's getting the ball out. They got a lot of speed at the receiver position, and he's doing a good job of operating the offense. I think he's playing extremely well.
Dennis, was Chris Harris somebody you kind of had been keeping your eye on? Just considering kind of the success he's had in the league before?
Yeah, look, and Chris is a guy that I had as a rookie in Denver. And so I've known Chris for a long time. He's a guy that we kind of had our eye on, and we're kind of talking to for a little bit about potentially coming and joining the practice squad here. And luckily when we got back from London, he was kind of ready to go, and so we're getting him acclimated and getting him up to speed. Hopefully we'll have him ready sooner rather than later.
What can a guy like that add to the team? Obviously, he's played a ton of football and a lot of it at a high level before.
Yeah, he brings a lot of experience. He's really smart, highly competitive. He's been a good player in this league for a long time.
With Geno, that's a little bit more familiar with what they're doing, or a little bit more comfortable this season.
Yeah, and I think they've tailored the offense around some of the things that he can do really well. They get him on the move a lot, let him use his feet, a lot of bootlegs and play action passes and things of that nature. So he's really playing well, and they've done a really nice job offensively of putting a good scheme around him.
Dennis, any update on Jameis at this point?
No, look, the only update is that he's still, rehabbing, and right now the plan is I want to get him healthy, and we'll see where he's at. He's getting better, so we're just trying to get him healthy.
Yeah, through the 4 games, have you guys been able to put your finger on anything that's kind of leading to maybe not getting the offense you want?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, last week, obviously, we start the first drive of the game, and we had a couple of penalties which backed us up. We had a screen pass that, would have been a first down. You get something going. Unfortunately, we get an illegal man down the field and put us really behind the chains. And so I think that's really kind of been the story is just kind of some of the self-inflicted wounds, and we're working extremely hard to get those things corrected, and I expect to get those things corrected here soon.
Dennis, did you think that this game, when you look back at the Minnesota tape, was the best play-calling job you guys did on offense? You seem to have them off balance a lot in that game.
Well, I thought as the game got going, I thought we did get into a little bit of a rhythm, and obviously, we ran the ball well in that game, and that set up some of the play-action passes and things of that nature. So, I thought we got into a little bit of rhythm specifically there in the second half, and played some pretty good offensive football.
Dennis, this is probably a pretty obvious answer, but how do you expect Marshawn Lattimore to respond after a game where a couple of passes went against him?
Well, I would expect him to respond the way he typically has. I mean, come back to work. The things that we ask him to do, and the nature of the position that he plays, he's on an island a lot. And, sometimes you get the bear, and sometimes the bear gets you. But I expect him to respond, the way that he always has, and go out there and compete and challenge every single snap. And we're going to put him in some tough spots, and he knows that, and he rises to that challenge.
Dennis, any regrets about the Latavius Murray situation? Is there anything you would have done differently there?
Well, look, certainly, we would love to have Latavius. I think the opportunity that he had there in Denver felt like that was going to be an opportunity to potentially be one of the lead backs there, and he and I had a nice conversation, and ultimately he felt like that was a better situation for him personally.
How important is establishing the run game from the start to get the offense in a rhythm early?
Yeah, I think that's part of what we want to try to do. I think the biggest thing for us offensively is just establishing a little bit more consistency, and the run game helps you to be able to do that.
And Dennis, I know we've talked a lot about turnovers. I know you've specifically talked about how important that is when it comes to winning the game. But I mean, when you're looking back at the 3 losses, is that kind of fair to say that the turnovers there are kind of the big, huge part of those losses?
Yeah, it's been the number one deciding factor. Is we've turned it over too many times, and we haven't taken it away enough. And so it was a big point of emphasis today. It'll be a point of emphasis tomorrow. We'll keep making it a point of emphasis as we go throughout the season.
Have you changed how it's been a point of emphasis since it's been something you've wanted for a few weeks now?
Yeah, we certainly did a lot. We spent a lot more time today working on it. So, it's a process. We got to get better at it. Everybody's got to understand the importance of it, and the issue really has been that it hasn't just been in one spot. It's been different people in different spots, and so we'll continue to work on it, and we'll get better at it.
Why do you think that's kind of happened? Is it bad luck? Is there something behind it that leads up after, you guys got more fumbles lost this year than you did all of last season?
Yeah, look, I think sometimes you get a guy that's trying to make a little bit too much happen and lose sight of protecting the football. And so, we try to we try to show instances of how the ball gets taken away in our league and try to make our guys aware of it. And ultimately, we got to improve in that area.
Hey, Dennis, do you see, when you look at Geno Smith, the same guy from last year, a more confident player, when you watch the tape from this year?
Well, look, he's playing at a high level, he's always had, the ability, and I think this year he's comfortable in what they're doing in the scheme. He's got a lot of weapons around him. They're running the ball exceptionally well, which opens up some of the talented player and certainly playing well right now.
We saw Malcolm Roach out of practice today. I'm assuming he's designated for return from IR. It seemed like he was having a pretty strong training camp. What do you think he could bring to the roster whenever he is able to come back?
Yeah, look, I think he can, bring some athleticism inside at the defensive tackle position. He plays with extreme effort. He's a team guy. I just think having another body in there would benefit us.
Dennis, do you have any update on Michael Thomas?
No. Look, he's got an injury to his toe. He's going to continue to rehab and work to get himself back out here. And that's the nature of, what we do. Sometimes you have injuries and you got to work to rehab. And I'm not going to really get into specifics of time frames or anything like that. I'm just, he's out right now and hopefully he's going to get well and we'll be able to get him back.
Okay, once again, that was Dennis Allen talking about the this week's preparing for the Seattle Seahawks. So let's go ahead and go over to the Pete Carroll press conference. I'm going to put that in for you. So give me just a second. I'm switching that camera over. And we're going to go to Pete Carroll.
Okay, this preparation, I don't know where you guys are going, but I'm just going to jump into the preparation because of the trip again and going to a great place, big indoor spot again. I'm hoping that last week helped us. We were challenged by the noise and the setting, and hopefully it'll help us out. I don't remember many places that are louder than this place in my travels, and so hopefully that will help us get ready. We have a lot of respect for this team, the Saints, and we see them really tough on defense and with commitment and to the running game and all the stuff they do on offense. This is a very good challenge for us to see if we can go on the road and get something done. So excited about the opportunity, excited about coming back after last week and see if we can put it on the road and do it again.
When you guys are deciding whether to practice inside or outside, how much does the upcoming venue factor in?
Sometimes it does. That decision is really a random kind of decision, depending on so many different things that happen. So, but it does,
Been talking about Geno. I don't know what that was. We've been talking about Geno's play a lot, obviously, for him to get Player of the Week, get that recognition. Cool.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful recognition for a great team effort, because Kenny could have maybe been one too. Both those guys had great games. I don't know what happened around the league and all that, but the guys up front and the receivers coming through and everybody making their plays makes that happen. And I'm really excited for Geno. He's off to a fantastic start, but around here we don't talk about Geno.
You gonna sing it?
Huh?
Are you gonna sing it?
See, the guys with kids understood what that's all about. Those guys have to not. Okay.
You played overseas a few years back in London. Could you have imagined coming back from that trip and having to play the next week instead of having a bye?
Yeah, I can. As a matter of fact, I can imagine that. But I think it's an outstanding challenge. Just with all that goes on in a game like it was too. But we go back and forth almost that far sometimes. Like we're doing it. So that might have been what some of the thinking was. Send your opponent back and forth too a couple times and see how that works.
it realistic LJ could play Sunday? Or?
Yes, it's realistic. He's got to put together a great week. Generally, we like to go a couple weeks, getting the guy back. He's been working really hard, and it's it's a elbow injury, so it's not his legs and all that. So he's in really good shape right now. So we got to see what happens though. See how the week goes.
High on Charles and Avery. You wouldn't have drafted them, but to see what they've done first.
Yeah, I think that they're maxing out what we could have expected of them at this point. Playing all 4 games and doing running games, and they're really growing fast, and they're just marvelously, I can't say that, handling it. They're just really chilled and poised about it, and it's not too big for them. They're having fun, but they've been really respectful too about the whole challenge of it. And so this will be an enormous test this weekend. The 2 guys they got on their edge.
Maybe Austin's wife he's new to the team, and yet his ability to kind of acclimatize himself and be a leader on that offensive line, adding on to the 2 tackles. What can you say about his leadership?
It's really been obvious. It's both Andy and Shane, who knew Austin from their travels, said he was going to be able to take command of it and be in control and help guys around him and help the quarterback and all that. They were exactly on point. And he's as big a surprise as anything that's happened. He's not just only done that, but he's blocked really well, and he's been effective, and he's made some terrific efforts downfield. Remember the fumble he recovered that Penny dropped on the ground, and all. So he's led in many ways, and he's a really proud dad today too, by the way. Did you guys know that? Yeah. It was a big weekend.
Charles and Abe and pass protection, particularly in the moments they've been left on island in obvious passing situations.
Well, Michael, they can handle it. They can do it. They're capable of doing it. And then they both have to continue to work on their technique and their footwork, so that you don't put yourself in bad positions. That's what so often happens to tackles. They get in a bad spot. They kick too far. They turn too soon. Let's try to eliminate those bad sets and all. But they can handle it, and so it's just it's to project how well they'll be able to play someday down the road here, and hopefully it's this season and start and continue. But their future is so bright because of the great start that they're off to, and they have all of the potential to be really good. So
at the NFL level, you don't see running backs scoring long runs that often. Penny has, I think, 5 30-plus yard touchdowns last year plus. What is it? Just his speed, or what allows him to finish those long runs?
There's a real suddenness to him, and it's the power that he has. He runs right through tackles that normally guys have to even change course. He didn't have to change course half the time. The guy reaches out and tries to get him, even whether it's the big guys or not. He just runs right through it, and it doesn't affect him. So he seems to maximize his opportunity to get to top speed. And you feel like when he busts it, he's gone, and you don't feel like anybody's going to get a shot at him. And he's proven that, I think we underestimate how powerful he is. He's 235 or 6 or something like that. There ain't very many running backs like that, and not very many that are that fast and that big. And so it's that combination really makes him hard to get down. And he just keeps all of a sudden he's just in the clear. It looks like there's nobody else on the field. Looks like when we used to recruit the old high school, the great running backs in high school, and there would be nobody on the film. The guy would break the line of scrimmage and be gone. There's some plays like that. He's just out there. It's one guy or nobody, and it's been exciting to see.
With Blythe, before you signed him, did you realize the communication skills, or that's something you could have?
I was totally what I was saying. I was totally went on what Shane thought, and what their experience and Andy. Both those guys were just totally championing the thought, and they were he's doing better than they ever even built him to do. So pretty exciting.
Stats might not be there yet for Noah Fant, but what have been your impressions on his overall impact in the offense? Maybe the things that aren't noticeable on the box.
What's not noticeable is he's had a few plays that, for one reason or another, there's a penalty here or there. He's missed about 2 or 3 or maybe 4 plays that he's already converted. He's doing great. I think he's a terrific weapon. We expect to see more, and use him more. It's early when you have 3 guys that you're working. It's early to start adding up numbers and all that, but he's going to be a huge factor. I think he's doing great. He's blocking better than we probably anticipated.
What have you thought so far about Jason Myers and how he's been performing for you guys this year?
Shoot, I think he's off to a great start. the whole mechanism didn't work as smooth as it should have when the one that he missed, but he's hitting the ball great. We've moved the ball around on kickoffs too. We've done some different things there. He's done everything the way we hoped to, so I think he's having a great start this season.
Some of the pass rush stuff with the numbers maybe not being what you guys would like, is that not having enough opportunities in the obvious situations, or is some of that execution on the guys' part?
Are you talking on what side of the ball?
On defense or pass rush into that?
Yeah. We're just going to improve at some stuff. It's the bulk of the plays are handled well. The bulk of the fits are handled well. We've been suspect about the explosive plays on us, and they've been because of a misplay, a misread, or a missed tackle. And I just think that stuff's going to go away. I think we're going to get it done, and we're going to be cleaner and sharper and more consistent when we all feel where everybody is, and we'll max out the opportunities better than we are right now. So I'm really not pleased at all with where we are. We shouldn't be in this spot right now. We should be off to a better start than this. But you can see the potential, and so we have to just keep fighting it and making sure that we're on it, and just minimize the issues that have been popping up.
You talked about how Mafe played on Sunday.
Excuse me 1 second. One more thing about that too. I think that there's one of the areas that we really need to improve on is we got to get rid of these penalties. We've got 10 penalties on three guys, all in coverage, coverage issues, and we can fix those. Those are. It's not like you don't have to be faster or stronger. You can fix those. I want those out of our game, and then let's take those 10 plays out of. Those are all. They turn into explosive plays that don't really show up in the stats and all that. I think that's a major area of focus for us to get back our shot.
Boy, he played a little bit more Sunday. What do you think about how he did?
He did well. He played very strong, and we're going to continue to play him, and he's going to get plays probably this week. And so I really like that he's able to start to factor in already. I'm a little surprised that he's taken to it. Oh shoot. Oh gosh. I know you're wondering how I'm doing that. Anyway, we're talking about Mafe?
Yeah.
Okay, next guy. He's off to a great start, and so just want to see him keep growing.
Penalties that you're talking about, is that a matter of just learning where the line is?
That's part of it. Yeah, it's being poised about the moment in the instant. Instead of I'm okay here. Oh shoot, I don't know if I am or not. It's just the uncertainty of it. Maybe that's what you're referring to. We can really clean those up, because there hasn't been a drastic one that we needed to do to survive the play at all. It hasn't been like that. So Michael had a couple rough ones down the sidelines against the Niners when he was just being physical and all, but. So it's a real point of emphasis, and I think it's going to have a major factor. If we play the next couple games and we don't have those, 5 or 6 more of those things in the secondary, we'll be in way better shape.
Officiating it as you coach them, or is it emphasis change?
No. Matter of fact, we've been very in tune because of the opportunities to talk about stuff. I've been very in tune with how they're calling stuff and how they're growing. Just a week ago, they sent out a video talking about pass interference that really sounded to me like they took a step forward in understanding a real subtle aspect of what's going on downfield. I was really impressed that they sent out the video and showed us 5 or 6 plays about something that the officials were showing us what wasn't pass interference, which was I thought that was really astute.
Have you ever defined, Pete, the illegal contact calls on sacks when the quarterback has no chance to get rid of the ball, and they'll call away from the ball? It's like a let.
Yeah, they're pretty much calling if you've done something to hinder the guy, and they do look back to see what's going on, but they're calling what they see, kind of regardless of what's happened back there. They don't see something. Yeah, the guy got sacked and don't call it. They generally don't do that. They're calling what they see, and so that's what it seems like.
The grouping that you guys use on defense, it was like it had like Jordan, he's the only inside guy, and then like Kobe, and then the 5 linemen. I don't know what you guys call it, but did you get what you wanted to see out of that package that you guys used?
We're going to continue to grow with it. It's something we worked on all off season and just didn't get much of in the first few games, but it's just something we like playing. It just gives us another variety of calls and stuff and configuration, with the guys out there. So we're still expanding that.
Particular personnel asking more of Kobe than just a normal nickel look?
It's really the front, because it's a 5-man look up front as opposed to a 4-man look, and that's more really about that and the variations that offers.
Could Ryan Neal kind of be a candidate to start in the safety? I mean, like with Sean?
Ryan's going to play more. Yeah, he deserves to play more. He's doing well, and he's officially back. No, he's a little sore today, but he's officially back. I mean, whenever he's played for us, he's always been active and been kind of in the midst of the action and all that. So and he had a couple big plays down by the goal line. That they got away that he could have won. That would have been really great wins for us. But he'll make those plays. He was close enough to do that. So I really like what he brings. So he will be playing and involved more.
Is that coming at the expense of someone?
You'll have to see. That's why I have all those configurations that we can explore.
The Saints, did they look much different with Dalton, the quarterback, as opposed to what they've been doing with Jameis?
Did the same stuff. They did basically the same stuff. He's an experienced guy. Got the ball out really well for him in this past game, and avoided getting hit. Did a nice job of that. So both these guys have the background to make the plays and call the stuff and put the guys in the right positions and all that. There's no change, I don't think, in their thinking. It didn't appear so in one game.
I'm proud already of these guys. Certainly, I know it's early, and you said a minute ago the record could be even better. But I mean, the growth you've seen, especially the last couple of weeks, and defying what those outside expectations might have been, just how brave is that to see that all that?
Well, if my expectations were low, then I would be, but my expectations are about as high as you can get them. So I don't feel like that. I really feel like we got to get it right, and we got to play up to what we're capable of playing. We have better football in us. And we have to eliminate the stuff that we're giving to the opponent by being penalized. And we had 11 again last week, and we had 8 on offense. So we can fix that. And imagine what that day would have been if we went backing up part of the time. So these are really within our control. But there's a lot of young guys getting penalized. And that's the part of. To your question, them being poised in the moment and understanding what they can do and what they can't do and what the rules are really like. We keep pounding them with illustrations of that to make sure that they, we're doing everything we can to make them aware. So, okay.
You've watched the San Francisco Giants make a number of World Series runs. What are your thoughts on the Mariners starting a potential?
I think this is so exciting. I think we've been building it up, throughout the offseason and following them and all that. So they kick it off Friday night. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. We've been following Aaron Judge too. We've had a ball following him all through this since about 50. So it's been fun watching him. So as much as the fellas are, I'm not sure the depth of interest. They're having to be interested in it because I keep putting it in front of them all the time. So, but the Mariners thing is going to be really fun. We'll be jacked up for them.
Cindy Jones got a chance to start Sunday?
Sure he does. Okay, thank you.
Okay, once again, let me shut this down. Let me shut this down.
All right.
Okay, once again, this concludes today's Saints preview versus the Seattle Seahawks. So we are going to be back in a few minutes for the Tulane preview. So I'm going to set it up right now, and we'll come back in just a few seconds. So for everybody else, everybody have a good rest of your Wednesday evening, and we'll be back on tomorrow for Sports Talk. But the people who are watching, you will have the Tulane preview in just a few seconds.